Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Finally Friday. This is good news, kind of wrapping up the whole big weather event. Of course, still slick roads out there. We're going to give you an update on the North Dakota DOT map as far as where no travel is advised this morning. We had a few flurries this morning, but we're still going to be dealing with mostly the wind and just the aftermath of the storm today. I want to thank you again for joining us. Remember, you can always watch this on your Facebook feed, but they also have it posted on our Inform YouTube channel and also on your favorite podcast platform. A great way to get the news and weather you need, of course, every day. Just visit inform.com/podcast and look for the Inform Minute. I just want to say thank you to all of the veterans out there. Of course, today is Veterans Day, and we're not forgetting that. Of course, a lot of ceremonies are maybe in question today. Be sure to check ahead if you were planning on going to something because, of course, the weather is such an unknown and lots more snow in some areas. Fargo, of course, we just got about 1 inch, but affecting some of the ceremonies. I will tell you that the Fargo Air Museum Veterans Day service is happening at 11 this morning. There's also going to be a service at the Fargo VFW that starts at noon, followed by free stew, and the Patriotic Band will be there. A couple of things I should remind you about too, though. There are some closures as well because of recognition of the holiday. That includes city and county office buildings are closed today, city libraries. There will be no garbage or recycling pickup today in West Fargo, Moorhead, and Grand Forks. However, it is running normally today in Fargo. U.S. Post Office locations also closed for the holiday. So a big day. Happy Veterans Day, and hopefully you can get out to one of those services if it's safe to do so and you're in one of those areas where travel is allowed at this point. Before we do touch on those road conditions, we had some breaking news this morning on First News. You probably did see some of the live hits we did have this morning. The DQ on 13th Avenue in Fargo suffered moderate damage in an overnight fire. Firefighters arrived shortly after 4 this morning. When they got there, they tell us that there was heavy, thick black smoke coming out of the backside of the building. When we talked to the battalion chief on scene when we were there, he said that it looks like it started in the kitchen and it actually got up into some areas that were very hard for them to access, but they were able to put it out. At this point, they think it's accidental, but of course, stay with WDAY for updates on that throughout the day. Okay, I do want to just jump right into the update, I guess, on the road conditions, because that was it's a huge story. When I'm looking at the North Dakota DOT map right now, it's improved really a lot since First News went on this morning at 5. Still a large section, kind of just the center. When we started this morning, pretty much the whole state was no travel advised. Now it's just the central part of the state. Bismarck area really kind of was hit the hardest. That was the bullseye, which is exactly what our storm tracker team forecast. They got the most snow. The interstate is still closed. That's the big question. When will that open? It's closed I-94 from Jamestown to Dickinson. Right now, though, although travel is okay in the eastern part of the state, when I'm looking at the DOT map, it's still all in yellow, which means very icy conditions. And as I mentioned, when the wind is blowing, that just adds that little layer of snow on top of the ice, which can create some scary driving conditions. So if you want to take another look, I was looking at my tablet here, but if you want to take a closer look at these maps and also the Minnesota maps, because a lot of icy snow-covered roads in Minnesota in our region as well, get that WDAY Storm Tracker weather app. That way you can access all of the road maps, access our Storm Tracker weather as well. You can check out the forecast. Really a must-have right now, especially coming out of this first big storm of the season. Also wanted to remind people, new overnight, the city of East Grand Forks actually declared a snow emergency following those blizzard-like conditions. It went into effect at midnight, will remain in effect until all city streets have been cleared. During snow emergency, there's no parking allowed on city streets, and vehicles that do park on the street could get ticketed or towed. This was a crazy story too. If you didn't see the video, you have to check it out. I am sure we have it on inform.com. We ran it this morning on First News. A specialized team is making its way to Fargo to help repair a South Fargo year-round golf destination. Of course, I'm talking about Sweet Shots. They have 155-foot nets. Even if you haven't been there, you've probably driven by. They're huge. Well, because of our weather, and the ice buildup on those nets, they actually came down. It's a pretty crazy video. So now a crew is coming in from Wisconsin, a specialized crew. They're going to try to pull those nets back up, hopefully by Sunday. However, it looks like some of them will need to be repaired before they can be pulled back up because some of them ripped during that whole process of coming down. Crazy story. So we'll continue to follow that too and see what they look like when they're back up. As cleanup of the first big winter storm in our region gets underway, are there enough plow drivers? That's a big question. Everyone's short on employees. Well, we have an update for you. North Dakota and Minnesota State plow drivers are ready for the season, even though North Dakota is facing a shortage of drivers. In Grand Forks, they're only down one driver. The North Dakota DOT says the shortage is mostly being felt in the western part of the state. And as far as in Minnesota, the state maintenance director tells us that all state routes in northwest Minnesota are fully staffed with plow drivers. So that's good news, especially when we're all thinking about the roads getting cleared and, you know, we want them cleared as soon as possible. Well, the plows are out, the drivers are there, so that's a bit of good news. It's the end of an era. The Fargo-Moorhead Community Theater is set to be demolished. The theater, you may remember, is located inside Island Park. It's been part of our community for 75 years, but it's going to be demolished on Monday. The demolition, of course, has been a long time coming due to structural issues of the building. The new theater is being built. Construction should start this spring. It's part of a $66 million downtown development project. A couple of national headlines before I wrap up for you today. Tropical storm Nicole still causing a lot of problems as far as travel goes. Even just in the past 2 days, more than 1,200 flights were scrapped yesterday, more than 900 flights canceled on Wednesday. The cancellations, of course, came when Nicole touched down in Florida. She was a Category 1 hurricane. Now she's down to a tropical depression. And I feel like you're going to hear a lot about this story. It's very sad that this is coming out. Today, construction on the Obama Presidential Center in Chicago has been suspended after workers discovered a noose at the site. The company constructing that center is actually offering a $100,000 reward for any information that leads to an arrest. The Obama Foundation is reacting, calling the discovery of that noose a shameless act of cowardice and hate. Today, WDAY is your home for a full day of state championship football action. Perfect. It's kind of a snow day. If you don't have to leave the house, don't. We're going to have you covered. Dakota Bowl 30 is taking place at the Fargo Dome, but we are your exclusive home on TV and online. The game coverage starts early today, doesn't wrap up till kind of late tonight. 12 hours of coverage, so you're going to want to check that out. The first one, 9:10, the 11B championship game, so about an hour away. Want to point this out, though, as we keep going on throughout the day. You can also stream these if you're watching me on Facebook right now and you're not here in our WDAY viewing area. You can stream the games on WDAY Sports Plus, which is on inform.com from anywhere in the world. You do have to buy a pass for the day. It's $9.99. Totally worth it. Full day, 12 hours of live coverage of the Dakota Bowl. So check that out. Don't forget, for 99 cents a month, for the first 3 months, you can get an all-access pass to Inforum.com. Of course, all the headlines I've been talking about, all of the weather, and all of the sports in one place, Inforum.com. Okay, we have a lot to cover. Throughout the day, we have our crews already in-house and planning out their days, so be sure to join us. We have that 11 a.m. newscast coming up here in just a couple of hours. Plus, this afternoon, it starts again, 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10. We always appreciate when you join us. And, of course, the First News crew will be back Monday morning starting at 5. Have a great weekend, everyone.